Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ham Radio Basics Live, Season 3, Episode 35. Ham Radio News and Updates, October 8, 2025. Hope you guys are doing great. Cooley's here. Andy's here. Waypoint New England, welcome, guys. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you for taking time out of your week to spend a half hour or so with me while we talk ham radio. It's always great to talk ham radio. Always great. Actually got some things to talk about today as far as news and updates are concerned. But before I get to that, I don't know if I mentioned last week or not. These are my second set of teeth that arches that I got, and they are much better than the first set. In fact, so much so, October 27th, they're going to do me a trial fitting of my permanents, and then probably a week or so after that, I'll get my permanent teeth. And these are 100% better than the original set, so I'm like over the moon. Yeah, it's really incredible. Absolutely, positively incredible. So that's definitely some good news. Looking forward to that. That's going to be at the end of the month. So fingers crossed on that. Got some videos I want to talk about tonight. But I think the first thing that let's see if I can get this up here. Okay. Yeah. You guys are fans of Walt, okay? Salt, Walt Hudson, Coastal Waves and Wires. I know all you guys know Walt, and I've had him on the show, and I probably need to get him on the show again. Okay. Now he's put out a fantastic video, and it's called I Live in an HOA, Please Help Me. And for those of us that live in HOAs, I do, and I know quite a few of you do as well. It can be a real hassle being a ham radio operator. Okay. It's been so much for me because what I have to do in order to get, say, an HF antenna up, I'm allowed to do a 20-foot flagpole. Well, obviously, you know that I can go ahead and do that. Well, I have to get permission from the HOA to set up the flagpole. I have to figure out, and this is one of the things that it just boggles my mind, okay? Now, I can run cable all day long and twice on Sunday out from my house out to the antenna. But the problem is we have water irrigation lines out there, and I got to find a way to do that. And I'm going to get with one of my local ham clubs to see if maybe they can help me do that. But be that as it said, Walt showed his setup and where he lives and what he's done and some of the challenges he's facing. And one of the things that I wanted to go over there is, and I'm like, Walt, a lot of people say what you will about ARRL. We have somebody out there defending us, okay? In Waypoint New England, for drone flyers, we really don't have that kind of advocacy at all. I mean, we're out there and we're crossing fingers and saying our prayers that we're still going to be able to buy and purchase and take care of our DJI drones after the end of December, and we don't know what's going on with that. But we have ARRL out there. We have them as defenders in Congress. In fact, I mean, there's quite a few congressmen and senators that are ham radio operators, which is very interesting. And there's a bill out there right now, and Walt goes into that in this video, so feel free to look at it. And those of you, by the way, that are watching on X, feel free to join the conversation by clicking the YouTube link, and you can be in the chat. We would love to have you in there. You can feel free to do that. Also want to apologize ahead of time. I got put in Facebook jail. Why? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. They don't tell you. It's like, well, you can't post till Thursday at 5:39 p.m. I'm like, what? Now I could type a post, but I can't drop links. I can't share. I can't. Just enough said about that. So that's why you didn't see it advertised out there like you normally do about the show today, was because I got Yeah, Lord Zuckerberg and his minions smacked me, so my hands up. All right, be that as it may. All right, one of the big thing that I wanted to go over is this form is so stinking easy to fill out. It's not funny, and I want to go ahead and share that with you because it's like, guys, this is something you got to do it. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. Help pass the HOA legislation to eliminate HOA prohibitions on amateur radio antennas. Free the antenna. How can I help? By sending a letter to each of your congressional representatives and your senators. Is my individual letter important? Yes. Representatives and senators rely on constituent input to decide which bills to support. Your voice counts. Background: the ARRL has successfully obtained congressional support both in the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate to introduce legislation that, if passed, will eliminate HOA private land use restrictions to prohibit amateur radio operators from installing antennas at their residence. Okay. What are the bills? U.S. House H.R. 1094, introduced by August Pfluger, Republican, Texas, and Joe Courtney, Democrat, Connecticut, and U.S. Senate S 459, introduced by Roger Wicker, Republican, and Richard Blumenthal, Democrat from Connecticut. Okay, I want to stop right here and say this is bipartisan, which means something like this will pass without question. There won't be any debating, squawking, quarreling, arguing. It'll get passed. Okay. Now, how do I send my letters? It could not be easier. Okay. Enter only your U.S. FCC issued amateur radio call sign in the blank below. Please do not enter any other non-amateur radio call signs. Your address, zip code, and email address will automatically be filled in. If any part of your information is incorrect, please update it. When you are finished, click on send button to send your letters. What do my letters say? Click here to view the text of the letters will be delivered on your behalf. Okay. Now, this is really good here. Okay. Dear Representative Senator and one of your constituents, I strongly support HR 1094 S 459. Sincerely, it gets into some great verbiage here as far as that's concerned. Let's go back here. Is there a brochure for me to share? Absolutely. Okay. And ARL has put this together as well. And I'm going to drop the link for this in the chat. And I would also, for this, encourage you guys. I mean, seriously, if you haven't done it, do it. I mean, it takes all of 30 seconds to fill this out, and you're going to be making a difference for all of us out there. I mean, trust me, it's just one of these things. Yeah, Cooley, great. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. It will make a world of difference. Okay. Walt gave the example at his place. He lives in an 1800s house that they divided up into condos, and he and his wife live on the upper floor. And he has a vertical on the roof because he lives up on the top floor. So he has roof access. A simple vertical up there, nothing fancy, simple vertical up there. And it's really, and he said, obviously a simple vertical is not going to attract attention. He said, none of his neighbors even know it's there. I mean, seriously, none of them. So, that's an option. By the way, getting in antennas. I mean, if you wanted to look at an antenna, something like that, a simple vertical like that, maybe on top of your roof, if you have a place to attach that. Now, he has a roof they have steps and everything on it. And you can take a look at the video and get into that. But fill this out. I mean, it's super, super, super. PRK Radio, welcome. Thanks for stopping by tonight. Super, super, super easy. And man, I'll tell you what, you'll make a world of difference for all hams in the United States. You really will. And like I said, this thing is supported. This bill is sponsored by both Democrats and Republicans. This will pass. There won't be any monkeying around or monkey business or he shed, she shed kind of stuff. This is out there. And the main thrust behind a lot of this, just to let you know, and I don't know if they get into it in their verbiage in here, but one of the main thrusts behind that is that amateur radio provides life-saving services in the event of disasters. Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir. You guys all know that, okay? This actually is based on That's why the senators and congressmen are proposing these bills, because it will help in times of natural disasters, hurricanes, floods, tornadoes, etc. You name it. When all else fails, you know the drill. I don't have to tell you guys. And that's why, okay. And I'm going to get on my soapbox here a little bit. All right. That's why I always have my HTs are always charging. At least every other month, I go out there and check my LifeBulb batteries, make sure that they're good. If they need charged, I get those charged as well too. I rotate batteries like on my 705. I have one in a charger. I have one in the unit right now. I'm going to flip them. I do that like every other month. I cycle these things because it's important. It's important that you have working means of communication. I mean, it's just bar none. I mean, seriously here, guys, this is a real no-brainer. So watch Walt's video. You can learn about his setup and some of his travails, which, yeah. If you live in an HOA, I'm preaching to the choir, our HOA is a piece of work. Say that lovingly, okay? I'm trying to be nice, okay? And being very PC, because I can go south on that real quick, okay, as far as that's concerned. But this is something that you guys definitely need to do. Please, 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 please share this with other hams. I mean, if they tell you I've filled it out, great, okay. If you're out on social media, if you're out on, any kind of social media, if you're part of a club or everything, say, hey, one of my friends talked about this petition that we can send before Congress. Boom, boom, boom. Get this out there. Get this information out there. It's like spread this far and wide, because we need this to happen. Okay, we really do. And this happens. This will make it. You can put up. Well, I wouldn't go crazy and get like a 200-foot Yagi up antenna tower with a Yagi up there, and so you can reach the world. Don't be thinking along those lines. Think about something that's really going to work, especially in terms of, you want something that's going to work for you, obviously, maybe a 50-foot tower. I don't know. But think about it. But you also got to think about the cost too, because, yeah, I would keep it simple in terms of trying to do things. I really would. What's nice for me is we don't live, I mean, where we're at, I have some trees in the back, but there's no real, overgrowth or things like that. So, when I get an antenna up there, it'll be open sky, which will be real nice. And we're kind of sort of out in the country, which always helps as well too. So again, that's something I think you guys should take a look at. So and consider. All right. Moving on here. All right. One of the things I wanted to show you, I came across this HT, and I'll tell you what, I don't know if any of you guys have this or know of anybody that has it. And it came under another brand name. I saw that out there, but Radtel, and I've tested several of them, and I would love to get this to test. Or the Radtel RT950 Pro ham radio, GPS, APRS, 10-watt, long-range handheld two-way radio, AM, FM, CB, SW, my eyes, MW, LWRX, Bluetooth, APP programming, NOAA spectrum analyzer with programming cable, and also air bands on this as well. I mean, it's about 90-ish bucks out on Amazon, 80, 90 bucks, somewhere around there. This one really piqued my interest. It's like you see all these HTs that are going on out there. And one of the things I got to say is, as far as the inexpensive HTs are concerned, Radtel does a great job with their radios. Okay. I've reviewed several of them. In fact, one of them that I reviewed, I just sold on eBay. They're good quality radios. Their programming is just like the easiest in the world. Okay. You download the app, you sign in, boom, boom, boom. You're done. I mean, you've got your channels programmed in there. It's like as fast as you can snap your fingers, it's done. It's taken care of. But this has 3 bands on it. Okay. They send you a programming cable. I don't know if there's software for this. I haven't taken a deep dive into this one, but for 90 bucks for what it provides, I think it's fantastic. I think that's something you guys should definitely take a look into as something that's going to be on my radar screen And I'm going to get in touch with my rep at Radtel to see if they can send me a review unit, because I would definitely love to review this radio. I mean, it really is good. And, I have 3 HTs. I have my Yaesu FTX 5DR, and I got a couple of Radtels over there. And the more the merrier as far as I'm concerned. And they're very good. I've been really impressed with them. They're pretty good on the spectrum analyzers as well, the tiny SAs. And that's one of the things. I didn't have time to prepare it, but I did a look, and there's ones that you should get and ones that you shouldn't get, the tiny SA ultra analyzers. And I'm going to spend some time on that probably in the next week or two. But again, this is something I think you guys should definitely take a look at. It's on my radar screen, and I'm really going to see about getting one from my supplier there with Radtel. And they've been very good with me. A lot of these companies can be really kind of spotty in sending you stuff, but they are really good. In fact, they sent me a damaged unit. They told me to keep it, and they resent me it the next week. I had another one. They're people that I deal with there, and their customer service and everything, they've been fantastic. So that's something that definitely you want to put on your radar screen as far as that's concerned. Okay. I've gotten several other articles out here and some funny pictures and everything. And there's I live in an HOA. Please help me. This is a good one from Jim from Ham Radio Prep. Ham Radio during government shutdown. And he really kind of explains things really well, because, a lot of people don't realize the government's really basically shut down right now as far as that's concerned. He said testing is still administered because that's done by volunteers. That's not done by the government. However, processing your testing results is on hold until the government shutdown is ended. So, but one of the other things he said, what you can do is if you've gone up to a general from a tech, or if you've gone to an amateur extra from a general, you can do that, but you would need to put your /G or /AE, I believe it is, at the end. Watch the video for specifics on that. But that's really some really good information to know, because a lot of people will think, oh, they processed my test results. No, they haven't, because they can't upload them to the database right now because the government shut down. It's real simple. So the sooner that gets taken care of, the better, I think, for everybody, not just for ham radio, but in general here. Okay. As you well know, okay, Hayden put out a great video. These ham radio prices are insane on for Amazon Prime. Hayden and a number of other ones, Steve T.O. I know Jason had an online chat about that as well, or online show about that. Go out there and check these out. There's some good deals out there. They may not be out there much longer, but definitely get out there and check them out. These aren't earth-shattering deals, okay? You're not going to get like a 7,300 for $500 kind of a thing, but you're going to get some really good deals on some other things. So get out there and check these things out. Not everything is, you're thinking everything with all the bells and whistles, but there's some other great things out here. So I think that's definitely something you should check out. Hayden also has a really great video on why I test every antenna this way with a nano NVA. And that's something I definitely recommend you watch this video. And he put a cheat sheet together too, which I think is really good. It's really helpful, especially for testing out antennas. It's a real simple, straightforward, easy to understand video. And these are the kind of things that I want to bring to you guys. Okay. Other things I'm not going to bring to you if it's too over the top or too complicated. But Hayden makes it really simple, really easy, something you definitely want to bookmark, and definitely do your own cheat sheet on this. I mean, Hayden did a great job on that. So that's something I would definitely recommend. Okay. And then he did another one on every major ham band explained. It finally made sense. That's another one to bookmark from Hayden. These are really good educational videos, especially if you're a new ham. It's really something that's worthwhile. So definitely bookmark that so you can refer back to it. It really explains things in English. Okay. I know you look at the band plan from ARRL, it's good, but it really kind of doesn't explain things. Ham gets into it, and he does it, and he does it well. Okay. Jim from Ham Radio Prep did a great video on top 5 HF ham radio antennas for beginners. Okay. And, it's really funny. He goes, well, you're not looking at a 200-foot tower with a Yagi up at the top, but these are ones that are going to make sense. They're going to be pretty straightforward and easy to set up, fairly straightforward, fairly easy to set up and connect to your HF radio that you get. So that's something that's definitely, it's one of these videos that you want to bookmark. That's the kind of videos that I look for to talk about, or the ones that you want to bookmark and reference. And this is definitely one of them. This is really good information for newbies who have just, say, maybe gotten their general or their amateur extra, and they're looking for a good antenna solution for an HF transceiver. So this is something definitely you want to bookmark and take a look at here. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here. And then Jim did another one here, top 5 HF ham radios for beginners. Okay. And he kind of kept this $1,500 and under, and there's a plethora of them for $1,500 and under. Of course, we have the new 7300 coming out at the end of December. I think that's going to be worthy of people's attention. But I mean, there's a lot of great ones out there right now. So definitely it's another video that you want to bookmark as well. Our good friend Mike from Ham Radio Tube, top 10 favorite features of the Yaesu FTX 1F. This is something that's growing on me. I think Yaesu has kind of finally worked out all the kinks on this. I mean, and there have been a number. There have been a number. It had a rough start, okay? And I think it had more of a rough start than, say, like the 705 did. I know there were some things with the 705, but the FTX one had a rough start. I mean, there was a lot that really kind of needed to be taken care of and addressed. And I'm really, really, really pleased with what they've done. It seems to be working well. And we talked about it last week, and I forget the gentleman's name. It used to be called Ham Cured, Smoke Cured Ham radio channel. Anyway, and his friends with, he's not here today, Jim, I think his name. Anyway, that's definitely a channel you want to bookmark, because he's going to be doing a series of videos on the Yaesu FTX one. He did them on the 7300 and the 705, and they're golden as far as my book. Those are the Bible references on the 705 and 7300. He's going to be doing one on the Yaesu FTX 1F, and he's already kind of talked about it a little bit. So that's something I think you guys definitely want to take a look at. And then of course, he did another video. Mike did another video on the unboxing when he got it 4 months ago. And I think the whole thing with the Yaesu FTX 1F, I think the whole thing with that, it ended up being this is my summarization of that. I think they tried to rush it to get it out because of Hamvention, and it did come out. And I think, it was about 3/4 of the way there. It wasn't 100%. And I think that's why you experienced some software issues with this off the bat. There were some things that needed to be tweaked, and they did. They got them corrected. And kudos to Yaesu. They were very responsive to customers. They listened to people. They took the time. They went ahead and they made these updates, and things are now working on it. And it has a great form factor. I like the size of it. I like the features of it. And it's like I said, it's something that's on my radar. But it's one of these things for me. I'm like, that would be wonderful in a vehicle. I would love that in a vehicle. But it could also work well at the home shack. So, it's one of these quandaries. If I had unlimited funds, I'd get both, obviously. But that's not going to happen. So, but that's it for that's that for as far as that's concerned. So, but yeah, the big thing I want to stress and I want to get across is, if you guys make sure you get a chance, send that letter out. It's super easy to fill out. Cooley's already done it. I hope a lot of you guys have. If not, I'll make sure to drop a link in the actual description and maybe in the comments after the video post, so you guys can have that, because I think it's really, really important that you guys do that. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. So, and then, you know, these videos that I have in there, normally I put these out to Facebook as well, but because I'm in Facebook jail, I couldn't do that. So they're all out on X, out on Twitter. So feel free to bookmark those. They are very helpful. Again, these are, like I said, you want to bookmark these. And you know what I do with a lot of videos that I bookmark, and I either will put them in a playlist, okay, and categorize them, or what I do is, you know, videos that I find during the day that I like, I'll send myself an email with those links so I have them. So that's a couple of tips to make sure that you end up, you know, not losing that video. Obviously, you know, you've watched it or are going to watch it. So these are kind of things I think will really be beneficial and very helpful to you guys as far as hams are concerned. So that's all I got for today. Cooley, Waypoint New England, Andy, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Everyone else that's in here as well, really appreciate each and every one of you. You know, we got a lot of things to look forward to. We got that updated 7300 coming up at the end of the year. Got some things I got planned. You know, as I free up and get my time freed up more and more, I'm going to be doing some actual real videos as well too. So stay tuned for all that. Thank you guys so much. As always, it's a great day to make a QSO. 7 3s, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.